Guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Responsible for Dog Bite After Stranger Child Walked in Home? This just happened this morning and I'm still a little rattled by it. I'm not sure what to do. I was in the bathtub of all places. I had the music going but I still was able to hear the dogs barking and a blood-curdling child scream. The scream came from inside. I don't have any kids. I hop out and wrapped a towel around me and run downstairs where I see a kid about 5 to 6 years on the floor of my living room with my dog biting the shit out of her and pulling at her pant leg. I called the dog off right away, it's a dachshund, and went to the kid. She was bitten around the ankles, leg and butt. Blood was drawn from the visible wounds. Through the kid's snot-filled whimpers I was able to get her to tell me where she lived. I have never seen this kid before. I throw on some clothes, pick the kid up and carry her a block away to where she said she lived. The mom answered the door. I explain I found her kid in my house and my dog bit her. The mom is rightfully freaking out and she puts her in the car to take her to the hospital. That's all that happened with the encounter, oh my god, and straight to the car. She never said anything to me. I have never met the mom before either. I think they may have just moved in. Now, I don't know what to do. I have not heard from the family nor the police as of yet. I have gathered the dog's shot records which she is up to date on as I'm thinking someone would ask for those. Am I responsible for her injuries as she just wandered into my house? I rent and I do have renter's insurance. Is this something to have them deal with? If so, do I wait until the family comes knocking or start the process now? Do I report it to the police or leave it up to them? Edit. Sorry. State is Minnesota in the city of St. Paul. I called my insurance company. Confirmed coverage of up to 100 kelvins that would pay out for a dog bite. I also walked back to their house, but no one was home. It's been 5 hours with no word. Another question. Would using the renter's insurance make my rate go up or could it make me uninsurable in the future? Update. Not really what I expected but pleased. The mother and the daughter just left my house. The mom came to apologize and had her daughter apologize for coming into my house. Apparently, she is only 4 and has done things like this before. She did not require stitches and the bites were not as bad as I was thinking. Blood always makes me think it's bad. They just cleaned her up and bandaged it up. I let her know the dog was UTD on her shots, but no proof was asked for. We chatted a little bit and everything was friendly. She seemed very reasonable and sincere. Just stressed out. They just moved there last week, and the mom just had another baby. They were distracted when their kid got loose and started walking down the street. She saw my dog at the door and just wanted someone to play with. My dog is actually quite friendly and has been around kids before. She has never bitten anyone before. I'm not really sure why she chose to bite her. If it was simply because she saw the kid as an intruder or if she did something to the dog. It does not show the attack on the camera. The little girl then asked if she could pet my dog and I said no. I will still be cautious and save the video just in case. But it seems like this is the end. Update 2. I guess this is not over. Today when I went to check my mail there was a handwritten note from the kid's mother in an envelope dropped in. It was not mailed. She just dropped it in the mail slot. In the note she asked for $5,000 stating that it was a fair amount for what my dog did to her kid. She also wrote that I would not need to worry about medical bills because her insurance covered the visit, making it sound like she was cutting me a break. Now, I hate this witch. Even though I have renter's insurance that would cover me, I do not want her to get a dime from them. Right now, my plan is to ignore the note and only respond if she files with the court. If or when that happens, I will disclose the video of her kid just walking in my house, which I do still have. Is this what I should be doing, or should I take her note more seriously? Just got off the phone with my insurance company. I did not file a claim but notified them of the situation. Someone will call me back soon after everything is reviewed, and they will advise the next step. Oh, and guess who qualifies for a discount for having a video camera? This girl. The lady I talked to was super helpful and knowledgeable and pretty much laughed at the absurdity of my neighbor. Guys, get renter's insurance if you don't already. Update 3. Enter the dad. Figured I'd make a new post for this update. Holy shit. I had the day off work today and didn't leave the house until around 3:30 p.m. to run and get some food. I was gone only 20 minutes. I got a hot dog and cheese curds if anyone is curious. When I got back home, I noticed there was a dude at my door. It was the husband. I walked up to my door, and he immediately started with demands of money and threats against me and my dogs. He was blocking me to let me in my door. He had an envelope in his hand, and I asked him if that was the medical bill. He answered that she did not go to the hospital and that she went to his mother's house, who is apparently a nurse. Dang. Someone had commented that they didn't think she went to the hospital because no one contacted me for shot records. You were right. He was still blocking my way until I said, "Let me in to get my checkbook." He moved out of the way, and I came in, locked the door behind me and didn't go back out. Husband is equally an idiot as his wife, and both are very young. Eventually he started ringing the bell when I yelled from the upstairs window for him to leave before I called the police. He continued to pound on the door, at which point I advised him to look up and that he was on camera and so was his trespassing daughter. He left. I called the police anyway. They came, heard my story and went to their house. It would appear that dude had a warrant or something because he was cuffed and taken away. I can see their house from my window, which I was totally watching from with giddiness. The officer came back, gave me a card with a case number and told me if either him or his wife come back to my house to call them. He also said something that implied the dad made a threat to him against my dogs by suggesting that I don't let the dogs in my backyard without being out there with them for a little bit. I guess that's all I have. Update. Rumor has it the dad was arrested for domestic violence. This came from a neighbor who came out to talk with me. Insurance company was called and updated. Landlord replied and is coming this weekend to upgrade the 1987 to 11 security camera I have set up and will include the backyard. The mom and little girl were out when I left for work, and I gave my best stink eye driving past. The little girl waved, which made me kinda sad. Update. There is nothing new to report. I have not seen or heard from the family at all. I did get some new cameras that I review every so often, and I have not seen anyone on the property who does not belong. Insurance company has been helpful, but there has been no claim made and likely will not be made ever. I suspect that the wife and kids may have moved because her car is never there, but I don't know. Final update. A couple days ago when I drove by, I noticed a for sale sign in the yard and there was a group of people looking at the house. I'm assuming realtors, inspectors, owners. The front door was open as well as no blinds in the big window and I could see the house was empty. I was thinking they moved for a while now because I haven't seen them or the car at the house for a couple weeks now. I followed up with my insurance company who confirmed there is no claim. I would also like to take a moment to thank everyone who responded. I went quickly from, "Oh, my God. They are going to sue the crap out of me and take my dog away," to "These people are idiots, duck them." The peace of mind and practical advice was greatly appreciated. The end. The next and last story is titled, "My, female 34, boyfriend, male 46, of 2 months ghosted me." I really need to just type this all out. I don't expect anyone to actually read this. Glad for this subreddit. Him. 46, very respectable job in law enforcement as a behavioral scientist, father to 2 teenage boys, a family man, respectable, good head on his shoulders. Me. 34, great career, no kids, attractive. We were so compatible. After a few weeks he told me he loved me. I didn't say it back, and he was okay with this as I expressed previously that I need more time for this to come out. We had all these plans for the summer for us and his kids, even talked about having a kid of our own in the future. He was supposed to go meet my family next weekend, and I was to meet his in a few weeks at his mother's birthday party. He'd always bring up how he was so lucky to have met me cause I'm such a catch, I'm perfect, and we're so compatible in every way and there's no red flags. The first month we dated, we saw each other a lot. The next month, he started canceling on me a lot. But it was always for very good reasons. So, I was never mad. I.e., his kid had a fever, his father had emergency surgery, his cousin died, his sister announced she was separating, etc. And let me preface by saying he was always crushed when our plans would change. He expressed very often how he's so excited to see me and counting down the days/hours. And then frustration at life basically when things would come up and get in the way of us. May was off to a rough start. We had plans on Sunday, he had to cancel and rescheduled for the next day. Monday comes, he had to cancel again. I showed a bit of frustration, which would be the first time. I told him we really need to work on our relationship. The first month was so good and now I pretty much feel like we're not dating. We only saw each other once in April and I'd also say I know none of that was his fault. But it's hard to feel like I did in March when things were so good and now, we're just not seeing each other. He asked how we work on it. I said by just hanging out, getting that time again, etc. And he said he'd be more free after the first week of May, so we made plans for me to finally go sleep over at his house. He'd cancelled on me the other 8 times I planned to go over. Then later that day I get a breakup text from him while I'm at work. Saying he is sorry, he knows he's a coward, but I deserve better. He said he would have to cancel on me again because of work, that would be 3 days in a row, and says he guesses he just doesn't have enough time to be in a relationship. Says he's turning his phone off and we will chat the following night. Following night comes around, I don't hear from him. I text at 9:45 p.m. and he doesn't respond. Now it's the next morning and I still haven't heard from him. I don't understand, he said he'd be more free coming this weekend. We had so many plans for summer, for life. Now he ends it because work went late, and he has to cancel on me again? And now I don't hear from him. How could he do this? This kind of behavior seems so against what he stands for. He expressed how communication was so important. And now he decides for us that we're breaking up and doesn't let me say anything about it? Breaking up was the last thing on my mind. X impersonated a cop for 2 months. He's not. Can I press charges? Update. I understand why my post was locked, but I wish I got a chance to respond to people. I was at work and intended to reply after. Anyway, I called my local RCMP detachment. When I first started telling them what happened, the officer said I probably should just let it go. But then he kept asking questions and he kept hearing just how deep this went, and by the end he said he's going to recommend I come to the station to make a formal report. Bringing along all my evidence. He said all my text evidence was sufficient enough. This man is a scammer and I bet he's scamming others too. I texted with his mechanic friend who I was buying tires off of, sent the money to my ex, and the tire guy kept bailing. He also explained how him and my ex met, it was while my ex was on duty. So yeah, he's either my ex with another phone or an accomplice. I'm leaning more towards accomplice because there were several times he took work calls where he would be talking about cases and general police things. So, someone's helping him out. And also, my ex disconnected his number after he broke up with me and got a new number. Who does that? Also, between my ex's old number, his new number, and both of the numbers for the mechanic, they were all odd area codes that I wouldn't associate with being in the GTA. Peterborough, Barrie, and I forget the rest. Also, when I reached out to his sister after his number was disconnected, she said, "I can make sure you get your keys back, but your money is likely gone." She didn't even seem shocked. I don't know if I want to go through with a criminal investigation and I have 2 reasons. 1. I would fear for my safety. This man is almost twice my size and clearly not okay in the head. Even if he doesn't have my key anymore, he could have made a copy. I'm also missing my work fob, which I think maybe he took thinking it was my home one. They look the same. And even if I change the locks, I live in a ground floor apartment. He could get in if he wanted. He also knows I own firearms, which I'm sure a criminal like himself wouldn't mind having. 2. He has intimate photos of me that I would be worried about him sharing. I don't have him on any social media and my stuff is all private. But he knows where I work, so, I don't know, he could do something there. Or he could probably find some friends and family on Facebook. The officer said I can just have them call to give him a warning. But then if later I decide to press charges, I can't. It's one or the other. I don't know what to do. I could easily just walk away. I got all my money back, so maybe I should. He told me he was a director in the RCMP, and I have text evidence, plenty of it. He told me he was fully vaccinated, which I told him is the only reason I went out with him. He told me because of his job, they get tested for everything including STDs every month, so we therefore stopped using condoms. None of this is true. Can I press charges? He also owes me $300 that his sister assures me I'll never receive. Impersonating peace officer. 1. Everyone commits an offense who a. falsely represents himself to be a peace officer or a public officer, or b. not being a peace officer or public officer, uses a badge or article of uniform or equipment in a manner that is likely to cause persons to believe that he is a peace officer or a public officer, as the case may be. Marginal note. Punishment. Everyone who commits an offense under subsection a. Is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term of not more than 5 years, or b. Is guilty of an offense punishable on summary conviction. Update. So, after many nights of tossing and turning and just not being able to get this out of my head, I decided to go to the police. I gave my video statement along with some physical evidence. They are calling him in to arrest him. They said he will be put in jail and released if he agrees not to contact me in any way. Then it will go to court, and it is up to the Crown whether or not they want to call me in to testify. If I don't want to go, they will use my video statement. The cop said our justice system is a little bent, so he will likely get off on a peace bond. That's fine by me. I'm not doing this to punish him. The inconvenience of this all is enough for me to think he won't do it again, and that's all I really want. To those who said what he did wasn't illegal because he didn't use his power to gain anything, that was not needed. The cops explained to me that him just impersonating/making someone believe he is a peace officer is enough. And I had plenty of evidence of that. Mostly all texts but a few photos and handwritten things. Also, for those wondering, STD test was negative. Thanks to everyone who commented and those that PM'd as well. I'm hoping this is the end of the story. Cheers. Thanks for listening.